Hello, welcome back! Today's anime is about some degenerate dudes who likes to taste test some monster girls in their world and puts up a review like some fucking food critic. Well, please enjoy this video!
In this world, there are various creatures such as humans, elves, beastmen, and others. There are different kinds of brothels where succub girls work, allowed due to their succubus heritage. Stunk, a human adventurer, is the first reviewer who has a preference for elves. Zell, the second reviewer, is disgusted by elves because he thinks they're old and smell like dirt, being 500 years old. Zell likes humans because he thinks they're all less than 100 years old. Stunk teases Zell for his preference in older women, while Stunk finds elves cute with attractive bodies. Zell retorts that humans have fresh mana, magical energy, while elves have rotten mana. Bruce, a beastman, and Canchel, a halfling, are called in to give their opinions on who is superior between a 50-year-old human woman and a 500-year-old elf. Bruce and Canchel give low ratings to the elves, with Bruce stating that elves are old and smell like dirt. Canchel prefers the 50-year-old human woman because she still has fresh mana and is voluptuous. In the end, Zell's preference wins, and Stunk is the only one who rates the elves highly. While our MCs were strolling, they stumbled upon an angel under attack by a monster. Stunk gallantly defended the angel by wielding his sword against the monster. Stunk and Zell commented on how rare it is to see an angel, and Zell, despite being 200 years old, had never seen one before. The angel, Krim, implored Stunk and Zell to let them join their group, citing their strong adventurer appearance as a deterrent to further attacks. Krim explained that his halo was damaged, rendering his powers useless. Stunk and Zell agreed, on the condition that once Krim's halo is fixed, they would accompany Krim back to heaven, as they were curious if there were brothels in heaven. Krim didn't quite grasp the concept, and Stunk and Zell elaborated that they travel the world to have with all sorts of beings, even venturing into forests, deserts, or depths of the sea. As long as there are cute girls, they will surely go. Krim immediately regretted his decision to accompany Stunk and Zell. They asked Krim about his gender, and he blushed as he revealed that he was a male angel, even gesturing suggestively to his bulging. However, Krim kept his other items a secret, fearing Stunk and Zell's reaction. In truth, he actually has both and a Stunk and Zell promised to treat Krim to a succub girl at a famous brothel, and Krim remained hesitant, expressing doubts about their plan as they made their way to their destination. Upon arriving at Meow Meow Paradise, they were greeted by a cute cat girl, and Krim remained shy and unsure about what was about to happen. With a suggestive gesture from a cat girl, Krim's was finally baptized. On the other hand, Stunk was overjoyed to have his own encounter with a cat girl. Krim's halo heated up, indicating that he had experienced something significant. Krim then got introduced to Stunk and Zell's favorite hangout, Il Eats, where he briefly worked as a waiter. As they explored the adventurers' world, they came across a bulletin board where adventurers posted news, jobs, and requests. Stunk and Zell also joined in, posting their own reviews about their adventures and encounters with different monster girls and brothels on the bulletin board. Recently, they reviewed a pleasure house that had octopus girls, and most of the reviewers gave them high ratings except for Canchel, who rated them 4 out of 10, because he found the octopus girls too aggressive and suffocating, so he passed on that kind of experience. Next, Stunk and Zell were given their earnings from the reviews they posted, and it seemed like a lot of perverts bought their reviews because they earned a lot of gold coins. So, they had money again to review other species. Majorie, one of the waitresses at Il Eats, was disgusted by them. Stunk and Zell invited Krim again to join them in reviewing another species, and they told Krim that he also needed to bust a nut. Majorie was disgusted by them, and Stunk teased her more, which resulted in Majorie punching Stunk. They searched for another species to review, and after 2 weeks, they returned. Stunk started posting their new review. While Majorie was posting it, she realized that the species they reviewed was actually her own species, bird maids. Stunk gave a high rating for the bird maids, saying that they were very sensitive and had sweet voices. Zell also gave a high rating, mentioning that the bird maids were very horny creatures. Krim also gave a positive review, stating that it was enjoyable to bathe with the bird maids. The last reviewer was Lamia, a snake man, who gave a low rating because the bird maids rejected her advances. Maitri got angry at Stunk and Zell for reviewing her own species, the bird maids, but Stunk teased her and touched the most sensitive part of Maitri's body, her neck. This resulted in Maitri attacking Stunk and knocking him down. Stunk convinced Krim to review another species with them and paid Krim for his previous reviews, surprising him with the amount of money they earned. While thinking of what species to review next, they stumbled upon fairies and decided to visit a fairy brothel. As they walked towards the fairy nectar, the three of them talked and Zell revealed that Stunk came from a noble family but was kicked out by his father, and he became a famous adventurer. They arrived at the fairy brothel and were greeted by a tired-looking fairy who disappointed the men. They were required to pay up front before entering, and then the fairy measured their one by one, stating that there was a size limit for fairies due to their small bodies. The fairy asked Stunk if he can make his stand so she can measure it properly. Stunk said he couldn't easily get it up, so the fairy helped him by making his excited. The others was surprised by the fairy's actions. After that she gave him a 16.5 centimeters or a 6 inches card based on his size, which meant he could only be serviced by 2 fairies. At the fairy brothel, there were rules about the size of their that fairies could handle, and with Stunk's size it means that he could only choose from fat and large fairies. Zell, on the other hand, had more options as he could choose from 20 fairies due to his smaller The halfling protagonist had no restrictions and could choose any fairy he wanted since his was small. Stunk picked Bubulala, but when she arrived, he was taken aback by her enormous size, which didn't resemble a typical fairy. When the fairy measured Krim, she regretfully informed him that there were no available fairies who could accommodate his size, indicating that his was too big. The men were frustrated, and Stunk gave the experience a low rating as he couldn't find a suitable fairy for his human-sized, scoring it a disappointing 3 out of 10. Zell shared that due to his size, he could only choose from half of the available fairies, and the experience felt like having with a doll, so he gave it a rating of 7 out of 10. Kanchel, on the other hand, gave a high rating to the fairies because all of them were available to him and they smelled nice, so he rated it 9 out of 10. Krim, however, felt scammed as there were no fairies available for him despite paying a registration fee, so he gave it a 0 out of 10. When people saw Stunk's review, they started to perceive Krim differently due to the size of his which made Krim blush. The trio then witnessed demon speeches in a public place, indicating that elections were approaching in their world, and despite the demons' efforts to sway public opinion, the orc party always emerged as the winner. A demon approached Stunk and informed them that demons were not popular and attractive according to rankings, ranking second to zombies, who were unpopular among men. This made the demon angry, as they claimed to have read Stunk's reviews and realized that female species were gaining popularity through reviews. In short, the demon wants them to improve the public image of demons by writing good reviews about demon girls. Stunk mentions that they only write honest reviews, and if they want good reviews, they should recommend the cutest demon girls. The demon they met proceeded to give them a flyer to a brothel where they could find high-quality demon girls. Krim refused to join them, mentioning his angelic nature and his disagreement with demons. As the demon campaigner flew by giving speeches, her assistant revealed to her that he recommended a brothel to Stunk to improve the image of demons among male reader, citing that a lot of voters are male and it would have a big impact for their image. While searching for the pleasure house, they encountered cowgirls. Instead of demon girls, instinctively, they ended up at a brothel run by cowgirls. In the end, the cowgirls became the subject of their reviews, with Stunk giving them a rating of 7 out of 10, praising their soft melons and delicious milk, but mentioning their firm bodies. Zell couldn't help but give the cowgirls a glowing rating of 8 out of 10 in his review. He raved about how he got to hold their impressively large melons, which left quite an impression on him. Bruce, being a discerning critic with a sensitive stomach, had mixed feelings about the cowgirls' milk. Despite their generous supply of milk, he found their dairy to be a bit hard on his canine digestive system. So he gave them a moderate rating of 6 out of 10. Sam Ton, with a keen eye for aesthetics, couldn't resist mentioning how beautifully shaped the cowgirls' derrieres were. He praised their exquisite asses and bestowed upon them a high rating of 8 out of 10 in his review. At ALN Eats, their bulletin post received a positive response from the readers on their reviews on the cowgirls. Many were intrigued by their detailed and candid assessments. When Krim inquired why they didn't review Demon Girls as originally planned, Stunk and the others explained that they got sidetracked by the cowgirls' ample melons, which stole their attention and derailed their original intentions. Afterwards, our perverted reviewers decided to visit a brothel that offered a gender swap experience, where they drank potions that transformed them into women. After gulping down the potions, they were quickly endowed with melons, and their voices changed, while their disappeared and were replaced with Krim, who also drank the potion, felt his vanish, leaving him with only his because he actually have two genitals from the start. The reviewers couldn't help but burst into laughter when they saw each other's transformations, and they even stripped down to show off their new items. They couldn't help but notice that Krim's transformation wasn't as drastic. The guys forcefully checked out Krim's, making him embarrassed. Krim decided to leave, but just as he was about to, the witch appeared and stopped him in his tracks. Krim questioned why he couldn't leave, and Zell explained that many men visited the brothel to become women, confess their feelings to the person they like, who were men, and then have a sleeping party. The next morning, the guys woke up to the realization that their sleeping party partner was actually another man. This is the reason why the owner of the gender swap-in had a strict policy of not allowing customers to leave the establishment once they had taken the gender swap potion. Krim asked Zell what they should do now that they had transformed into females. Zell explained that the inn had partnered with pleasure houses, where they could choose sucker girls who were aware of their gender swap and experience what it is like being with lesbians. Krim was uncertain about how he should feel about this situation. In the next scene, our perverted reviewers eagerly selected sucker girls to have a sleeping party with. However, they realized that there were limited options as not many sucker girls were interested in female partners, even if they were gender swapped. When Krim tried to choose a partner, he came across a magazine that offered masculine males, and he blushed. Zell further explained that they also provided a unique gender swap service for those who wanted to experience having a sleeping party with macho males, called Suku Boys. When the other men saw it, they immediately felt disgusted. Krim noticed a rainbow ad behind the magazine and asked Zell about it. Zell explained that Rainbow Boys are able to cater to more than 5 clients in a day and they can provide sleeping party services to both females and males. Zell advised Krim to already choose a Suku girl as his partner. Then Krim glanced at the Suku Boys magazine again, arousing suspicion from Zell, Stunk and Kanchel. Stunk mentioned that he had a feeling that Krim might be interested in Suku Boys. The reviewers made their selections and eagerly waited for them to arrive. Krim asked if there are shops that can turn females into males, just like how males can be turned into females. Zell mentioned that there are other shops for females, and Krim wondered if females would book Suku Boys. They imagined scenarios of females turning into males and booking Suku Boys. Krim asked if it's different from booking Suku Girls. Zell explained that it's different, as they would still be females internally despite their male appearance. Krim asked if they wanted to try females turned males, but the 3 of them vehemently denied. The first Suku girl booked by Stunk arrived. It was an elf named Lorna who was 300 years old and had 659 years of experience. The other men were disgusted by her because elves were known to have an earthy smell and were considered old for some species. Stunk, however, was excited to have Lorna as his partner because he didn't care about her age or race, only her outward appearance. They were surprised when Stunk wanted to have sex with the old elf, but he didn't care and was still happy with his choice. Kanchel's chosen Suku girl, Pilitia, a halfling, arrived and she seemed innocent and cute, but she is said to be very dominant in bed. Stunk said he didn't like halflings because they looked like innocent kids, but Pilitia said she was older than him despite her appearance. Zell's chosen Suku girl was a slime girl named Limey, and he was excited about his choice. According to the elf Lorna, slime girls are the most popular choice at the shop because they are perfect for first-timers. Lorna explains that slime girls' slime is not painful and they can easily penetrate the deeper parts of. In Stunk's review, he mentions that he's not really into having, but he highly recommends trying this shop if you want to experience what women go through while having sex. Stunk gives it 5 points. Kanchel's review describes the shop as unique, offering experiences that are exclusive to women. Kanchel gives it 4 points. Zell's review highlights the shop's distinctiveness, with sensations and sounds that men don't typically experience. Zell gives it 8 points. Krim books a stunning hyena girl named Elsa, which surprises Stunk and bewilders the other reviewers. Lorna expresses concern for Krim, noting that hyena girls are typically recommended for experienced customers because they both have a and a. Additionally, female hyena girls have bigger compared to male hyenas. Krim's review reveals that since becoming a woman, he wanted to experience things only women can. That's why he chose the handsome hyena girl. Krim was initially nervous as it was his first time having as a woman, but he ended up enjoying the sensations and gives the shop 9 points. The other 3 are taken aback to learn that Krim knew about the hyena girl's realizing that he might be interested in sleeping with men. This changes their perception of Krim once again. Next, the reviewers are on the lookout for a new place to review and stumble upon an advertisement for a budget-friendly brothel. The ad claims that the brothel offers unlimited time, allows them to bring friends, and they can enjoy it for as long as they want. The reviewers are initially skeptical, thinking it might be a scam, but they decide to take on the challenge and visit the brothel anyway, despite its sketchy appearance. Upon arrival, the attendant warns them that once they enter, they won't be allowed to leave until they're done, no matter what, including crying, screaming, or needing to use the bathroom. The brothel takes no responsibility even if they're close to death. Despite the warning, the reviewers agree to sign the contract and enter the brothel. They are shown the appearance of a normal succubus and a low-level succubus, and they start to realize that the reason for the low price is because the brothel is filled with low-level succubi, or lilim, which explains the affordability of the experience. Krim wonders how the brothel manages to stay in business with such cheap prices for their services. The woman explains that the lilim themselves pay to have with the customers, and if they offer their services for free, it would come across as a scam and they would have fewer customers. After reading the contract, Stunk asks the woman if he can also join the party. The woman tells him that if he can handle all the women inside and still have some energy left, she'll play with him. Krim hesitates whether to join the other reviewers, but Stunk and Zell ignore him and cast buff support spells on themselves. The 3 of them enter, but Krim decides not to join them. The woman opens the door to the brothel and the sleeping party begins. Krim becomes worried for the others, and the woman admits that it's rare for anyone to be brave enough to enter, even with just 3 people. Suddenly, a group of orcs arrives with 100 friends, and the lilim become excited and kick out our 3 main characters. The numerous orcs enter the brothel, and the readers recognize Stunk, Zell, and Krim's bravery in reviewing the brothel. According to Stunk's review, he initially enjoyed the first 30 minutes of the sleeping party, but later experienced extreme discomfort, leading him to give it a score of 1 point. Zell compared entering the brothel to risking one's life, as it felt like a mix of heaven and hell, resulting in a score of 0 points. Bruce revealed that if the next sacrifice didn't arrive within 10 minutes, he might have been dead, so he also gave it a score of 0 points. Afterward, the 3 of them took 3 weeks to recover. After this, Krim's landlady asked him to fetch fire gems from a dangerous volcano area and suggested bringing along his perverted friends, as it's risky to go alone. Stunk and Zell mentioned that buying fire gems from city merchants is expensive compared to getting them on their own, so Krim's landlady asked him to fetch them. While traveling, Krim realized the strength of his companions, despite their perversion, as they easily defeated the monsters they encountered, showcasing their skills as professional adventurers. After their adventure, they decided to check out a barbecue joint run by salamander girls. They were intrigued by the idea of grilling barbecue on the bodies of these fire affinity beings. Despite Stunk and Zell not having fire affinity, Krim, who did, joined them in the brothel. The place was quite popular among races with fire affinity, and they excitedly cooked barbecue on various parts of the salamander girl's body, even grilling hot dogs in a particular location. However, Stunk and Zell couldn't handle the intense heat for long and wanted to leave. The salamander girl then invited them to a private room, but Stunk and Zell declined as they lacked fire affinity. Instead, the salamander girl set her sights on Krim and took him to a private room. Stunk and Zell waited, complaining about the excessive heat and eagerly anticipating Krim's return. When Krim finally rejoined them, they couldn't help but notice that he smelled like barbecue because of this. Krim blushed in embarrassment. They asked Krim about his experience with the salamander girls, and he rated them 9 out of 10. Krim described them as hot and sensual beings, with a distinct barbecue flavor in their bodies.
And that is the end of our recap today. Yamame's question of the day is, so will you continue on the road of degeneracy or pass on this anime and move on to another? So what's it gonna be? The choice is up to you. Yamame is just here as your guide. On the bright side, Yamame thinks that Ichizoku Reviewers helps you explore some fetishes and kinks that you might be interested in, all while being told in a cute and light-hearted anime medium. Did you enjoy our anime recap for today? Yamame will be uploading interesting anime recap every week, so please come again next time. Bye bye!